Today we are going to be making these Santa handprints with my children. And I'm going to go step by step. I've made these every year with my kids starting 5 years ago. Except last year I also made a cardinal because my dad passed away. So in memories of him. Otherwise we have them all. The ingredients that you need and the objects that you need is a mixing bowl and a spoon. Measuring cup for the flour and salt that we'll be using, water, the salt. You need parchment paper. Trust me, you really want parchment paper. A rolling pin. You need a straw so you can put the string through. Flour. I like using a cutting board. Any kind works, but I prefer the wood one. Baking pans, we'll be baking it. You need the oven. You need a knife to cut out your children's handprints. And the most important ingredient, your children! Hopefully they won't be grumpy. They'll be smiling. But I can't promise yet. I like to use the half cup measuring things. It just works much better. Take my mixing bowl. That I'm using. I want 2 cups of flour. So it's half cup. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4 half cups of flour for 2 cups. And I want 1 cup of salt.
I can mix it for you.
And I got my
Can I mix it too?
You each can mix, yes. I got it. And so then we need 2, because whoops, we don't have enough. We gotta grab some more.
Mommy, look what I can do with 3.
No, please don't do that.
I'll put nothing in the
Whoa. Okay, now I got my mixer. Be careful. Mix the salt and sugar, yeah. Salt and flour together, very good.
Can I do it too?
You sure can. Mix it without making a mess. And combine those 2 together very carefully.
Your turn. Yum, yum, yum.
Then we're going to mix some water in. My suggestion is a little water at a time. You want it to be kind of like cookie dough.
I want to mix that together too.
Let me do it first. It's a great activity for your kids to participate in. Okay, now Jerry, you stir. If you get too much water, the flour, just add it to it. Back if you need be. Okay, let me help you, bud. In a minute. Now it's your turn. I gotta get some. There's several recipes online. You just want a salt and flour dough. I just do half of the salt, 50% of the salt versus the flour. Oh, she got dirty. And just combine it all together. Still not combining yet. A little bit more water.
You know they can hear you, whatever you say.
That's the point, my dear. We are going through this step by step. And as my kids want to point out, they can hear you.
Mama.
It is a lot of fun with your kids, especially seeing the difference in their handprint sizes year after year.
Why are you talking to the camera?
I'm not talking to the camera.
Which one am I?
I'm talking to the people listening. I'm going to add a little bit more flour, sprinkle it on, and mix it in.
Oh no!
Till I like how it looks.
That's not very good.
Actually, I think I do like how it looks. I feel like I'm almost making sugar cookies here.
Yes, and why do you need butter?
You would need butter for sugar cookies.
The
Okay, so I take this and I kind of get it into a ball. Kind of like I'm rolling pizza dough.
yeah. Let me do it.
Nope.
Why?
And I'm going to put a little flour
On it.
around it. Just like pizza dough almost.
Because it is dough.
It is dough. Now I'm going to take my parchment paper.
Put it on the cutting board.
I'm going to put it on the cutting board. That's correct. I'm going to take half the dough. Wait. I got helpful kits. It is a really fun project to do with your kids. Wait.
Mommy, I'm making cookies.
We're not making cookies today. We're going to smooth this out very carefully with the rolling pin. Not heavy like with cookies, just like you tried to do. So you might have to do some retakes, especially if you have your kids helping you, but it's still a lot of fun.
Mommy, don't sit
Lightly. We're just making it smooth. Okay, bud.
I want to do it.
You can do yours. He's doing his. Make sure you have it big enough for your kids' handprints.
Yep.
You might want to check. Wait.
Are they going to put our handprint?
Make sure your handprint, your kid's handprint, fits on there. Whoops. And then have him or her press down to get the handprint. Help them. Press firmly, but don't hurt them. And then lift carefully. What do you have is their handprint.
That's my size already?
You take their handy dandy knife, and this is where you get to be creative and very carefully go around the outline of your kids' prints. Very, very carefully and extremely slowly to stay with the grooves. Just like that.
Yeah.
And go around each finger. It is easier to have your kids separate their hand, just like my son did. So it makes it easier to cut out. This is my daughter's first one.
What about my first one?
And this was last year. It is so cool to see the difference year after year.
Show them mine.
Go grab the box on the dining room table.
Those are hers?
Yep. And we cut off in between each finger.
So, and then I got one of those rooster ones.
And cut in between. You can pull this part away and clean up the edges and go back in the bowl. What you can do, depending on how many children you have, you can make ornaments afterwards and hang on your Christmas tree. Go around each finger.
My rooster.
Now my son, when he was born, he was a week old on Christmas. So my sons, can you grab your first one?
I don't know what to do.
It's a little mitten.
I look for the tiniest one.
And just dig this stuff out.
Mommy, are we going to cook our handprints?
We are going to cook them.
What are we going to do with them?
If we don't cook them, they will mold, and you want to make sure they're cooked completely.
Mom,
Can you grab the littlest one, Mom?
Mommy, will we get to eat them?
Well, no, they get to be hung up year after year.
I think I
Whoops.
found the little Santa. Shouldn't it be a mitten though? Should it be?
A mitten, yes.
Yeah, like this.
Whoops, Mama made a mistake. We gotta just sometimes we have to repair, but that's okay. And then I try to smooth out in between the fingers to make sure everything is nice and smooth. Yes, my dearest.
Can I put these in?
No, put them down. I don't want them ruined.
Why is this one so cracked?
It happens. I didn't seal it enough.
And that one is
Put them down. You always got one that wants to get into stuff.
And here's an even tinier one.
Yep.
It's me, and never what you see. They're getting too tiny for my hands.
Now my son was a week old on Christmas. So his very first one is a mitten. I couldn't cut the fingers out. I also didn't bake it enough. You'll see that there's cracks.
And that's my first one?
This is his very first one.
Sure
I'm just going to seal it again to make sure it's sealed properly this year.
And what about this
And I just got it dirty, but oh well.
And what about
And
that
the same thing here. My daughter